everybody. Welcome to Talks Pet. Today is a very special day as we have a conversation with a panel where we have people across the globe. We have a mom, Aimi, from Faroe Islands. And this is something that even I had to look up. It is a small country and Aimi will share a little bit more about it. And we have Arbaaz from India. So we've coordinated 3 different time zones to come together and have a conversation with you about how Aimi is helping her child who is 15-year-old and is diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Aimi, and share a little bit more about your journey.
Hi, yes, I'm Aimi and I come from the Faroe Islands, which is a small island community in the north of Atlantic. It's between Iceland and Scotland. And we are about 52,000 inhabitants. And the language is Faroese, which is somewhere between Icelandic and Norwegian.
Wonderful, Aimi. Faroese, I had to look it up myself. So, this is amazing that I'm able to talk to you and today hear your journey with your child who is now 15, you told me, and was diagnosed with autism. But let's also meet our other participant, which is Arbaaz, who is in, Arbaaz, are you in Chennai today?
Hi everyone, my name is Arbaaz. I'm pretty much in Chennai right now, yeah. There's a cyclone going outside.
Oh my, are you safe?
But it's fine.
Okay.
We're all safe, yeah.
Good.
Hopefully. So introduce myself, I am an associate product manager at Avaz, and we at Avaaz make apps for people with cognitive disabilities, be it autism, dyslexia, or any language impairment. We've been in the space for the last 10 years now, and we have users worldwide.
Wonderful. Thank you, Arbaaz. I myself, I have used Avaz and I know it right from the get-go when it came on board. So what I love about everything about Augementative is that they really, you guys are in the business of making the app, but you work so hard to connect with the community and really have a strong outreach. And through Aimi's story, we will find out more. So Aimi, take us to the beginning and share with us about your child, his autism journey, and then his communication journey.
Yes. Our son, who has autism disorder, he's 15 years old now. The first 2.5 years, he developed normally. So he had a language, he had social skills, and he was playing and a happy child like the other boys, his older brothers. And then at 2.5, something happened where he started regressing. So over a period of a year, he lost all his communication skills and he got additional problems as well for later being diagnosed with autism.
Wow, that must be devastating because, knowing that you had other children, you knew he was on that trajectory and then you saw that loss. So Tell me a little bit about the early years. I know you shared with me earlier that he was really the beginning was a totally non-verbal phase, and even in the schools they were using sign language to help him communicate. And
they tried to teach him sign language in kindergarten. It was a specialist kindergarten for children with autism or communication problems. But many people or children with autism, they cannot coordinate their body properly. So it never worked for him to do sign language. So we tried to push for PECS, Picture Exchange Communication System, but there weren't to do that. So not until he was 9 years old. So there was a gap of like 6 years where he didn't have any language at all, which was very, very frustrating, and it led to many frustration outbursts from his side, which is very understandable, being able to understand everything that's going on and being sad around you and not being able to express himself. So when he was 9 years old, I was really, really desperate. So I tried to find an app So I started with GoTalk Now. That was before I knew of Avaz.
Right.
And it's a good app, but it's very labor intensive. So I was on the lookout for another app that was easier to use. So I was on the, I had to choose at that point between developing GoTalk Now only for him, or I could take the Avaz app and translate it so that everyone could benefit from it. And I think it would be the same amount of work anyway.
Right. So
yeah.
he was not communicating much, and you were now looking at, you found an app, and now you're thinking, can I have it translated in Faroese so that he can communicate?
Yes. So yeah, I got in contact with the Danish head, the chairman of the Danish Autism organization.
Okay.
When I was in the board of the Faroese Autism organization, and she had been translating the Avaz to Danish. So she put me into contact with Avaz, and quite honestly, I was afraid that they would reject me because we are such a small market of 52,000 people. But luckily they did not, and they were very accommodating, and the journey with Avaz has been amazing to work with them. And it has taken about a year or a year and a half to translate and do all the technical work from their part as well. But it's been a pleasure all the way. So
thank you, Amy, for sharing your journey. Arbaaz, could you share with us a little bit about the uniqueness of Avaz now and how it helps and how you supported Amy?
Sure. So the way that Avaz works is, in principle, it's very similar to other AAC applications out there. But then what we focus on the most is the user experience around the application. So, for example, if you wanted to maybe create a sentence, you're able to create a sentence on other apps as well. But then the experience that you go through while creating a sentence on Avaz is much different. It's much simpler, and it invites the user to create more sentences. It basically facilitates communication, and that's what our North Star metric is, but that's what we focus on, to get more users to communicate more. The way Avaz is unique is that we've built a community of sorts of users who endorse Avaz, who are evangelists of Avaz. So for example, we started off in India for the Indian audience, but then as we scaled globally, we had parents and users reaching out to us from different countries that, hey, we like this application for a kid. We think it might be used for our community as well, who speaks a similar language. This might be French, Danish, Sweden even. What happened is we worked with those parents in those countries, from those countries. We worked with users from those countries, and then we've been able to scale the Avaz app and introduce them in multiple languages. And as of now, I'm very proud to say that we at Avaz have introduced the app in over 15 languages. That's about we have 9 international languages and 6 Indian regional languages. And also excited to tell you that we are working on introducing another language, which will hopefully be out by the end of this year, around the New Year's time.
Wonderful. So Amy, tell me about your journey with Avaz. So you, in fact, went down to India and had this experience of translation and visiting a new country with your son. Mm-hmm. So what was that like? How was your experience?
Well, it was such a great experience in every way. It was my first time in India, and it just so happened then in my younger years when I was studying in Denmark, I did my thesis on Lego, the toy Lego building blocks.
Oh yeah,
on the Indian market, but it was a desk research because I didn't have the opportunity to go back then. So I was really happy to be able to go to India finally, and we were welcomed. They were so kind and helpful, and it was just a pleasure working with Avaz at the office. And also, I would like to point out that I know that there are a lot of communications apps out there, and the reason why I switched from GoTalk to Avaz was that it is so easy to expand the vocabulary of the child with Avaz, because you have you have all the pictures in there, and even if you don't have it, just take a photo with your iPad and just upload it, and it's like in a snap. You can expand the vocabulary, and you have the speech, the computer speech, so it will read out the word that you put in there immediately, and it's just very, very easy to work with, and that is really so important when you are a parent of a special needs child. You do not have all the time in the world. It has to be easy. And also with regards to the network, if they are going to use this communications app, it has to be easy.
Yes.
And that is Avaz. It's very easy to work with.
Right.
And they are very easy to work with.
Wonderful. No, I think that is such a win-win combination for sure. So Aimi, once your child started using Avaz, I know you shared with me earlier that, in the beginning, he was just very motivated by food. So mostly he was using the communication app to request food. But now that he got more words, and with your support, you are now giving him an opportunity to expand language. What were some highlights?
Well, recently, as I told you before, he is very focused on food. So initially when he used GoTalk, it was mainly asking for a special food item. And I would also like to share, when we initially started using a communications app, the epiphany that he experienced, the happiness, it was like complete...
a magical world, right?
Yes.
Like, it was like magic.
He pressed the photos and he looked at me, he smiled, he laughed, he couldn't stop talking. So it was, it really made a huge difference in his life. So yes, initially he just used it for requesting special food items, which is very important to him. So what we experienced, just him being able to show us what he would like of food items, it reduced his frustration level with about 70-80% at home. So I think that says a lot, the importance of being able to communicate.
Absolutely.
And today, a year after he started using Avaz, he has gone into other categories as well, like activities. And recently he started explaining or telling. Recently he told his teacher that he had been cooking with me the night before. And he also another day told the teacher that his brother had been visiting. So it's really a breakthrough these last few weeks. So it's very encouraging, and he is as happy as ever.
That's wonderful to hear. I know, words open the doors to your world, being able to share what you feel, and being able to be part of your community is what we as humans crave for. So I think thanks to Avaz for being that that roadmap for him, and Aimi, for your patience of trying to figure out how you can translate all these words and give your son that opportunity so that he can grow and share his life with us. So this is wonderful. And I think we also want to talk about a little bit about, even though he's using now for a year or more, what are some barriers that you find?
I don't find any barriers on his part, because he's very happy with communicating. He tries to communicate all he can, but the challenge is more in the network. Not everybody are as accommodating in assisting him in using Avaz, which is quite frustrating. And
that is, I agree with you, Aimi. As a AAC specialist, I think we are giving a voice to our individual students and people we work with. And the challenge is still that our community and the communication partners are still not willing to accept that voice, not be patient enough, or they lack the desire to make it available and just, be accommodating. So Arbaaz, what is your experience with some of that, barriers that you see in India?
Right. So, talking about barriers in India itself, so in the US, you will see that there are a good number of SLPs or assistive technology people, professionals, for a certain population of people with speech disabilities or any disabilities for that matter. But in India, it's a growing space, it's a growing area. People are not really aware of speech disabilities, or they don't have much awareness of the whole autism space itself. So speech language pathologists in India are very less in number. We have seen that as a challenge. And what we've done to maybe counter that is, so some of our users who use Avaz, in the recent last couple of months, what we've done is that we have enabled online therapy sessions for these users. So we work with speech therapists together now, like we get them on board with Avaz, and then we connect parents to these speech therapists, and then they have these sessions remotely. And that's certain ways that we're trying to bridge the gap by providing access to to parents and obviously to the users of the therapist, and that way they're starting their communication journey. That's certain ways that we're trying to bridge the gap. Yeah.
No, that's great. I'm so glad that you have that effort. So thank you everybody for your time and sharing your journey and sharing about this wonderful app, Avaz, which means the voice. And it's truly the voice for your son, Aimi, it looks like right now. So we wish him the very best. Today is Thanksgiving Day here in United States. So I'm very thankful for your time. And I wish that, this extra effort, Aimi, that you took about converting an app into Faroese. And what is the outreach right now for the app in Faroese at where you are?
Well, I experience more and more people contacting me and asking about the app. I have also, together with Kirsten, who translated the app with me, we have been teaching groups of people to use the app with assistance from Avaz, where we had slides sent over so that we could have a presentation on the app. But I have outsourced that to a speech therapist who has gone private now. So she is educating people within the app. So there are more and more people asking about the app, and also other groups than autism. So it looks very promising and very exciting. I would also like to thank Avaz for giving my son a voice so that he can have a saying in his own life. And it just makes such a big difference in his quality of life. And all these people who have this problem, who have difficulty communicating. So, yeah.
I agree.
Thank you for saying that, Aimi.
Thank you. Thank you. Arbaaz, any last words from you?
Well, thank you so much for having me and Aimi in the first place. It was nice to share our stories and where we come from. Aimi, thank you so much for saying that. That's what we're a small team at Avaz, and that's what we always strive to do: make communication accessible and easy for everybody. And it's good to know that we are going in the right direction. So thank you for saying that, and thank you, Namita, for making this conversation happen today.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.